What if everything you've been told about happiness and its pursuit is less than half the story? These words, the pursuit of happiness, are after all enshrined even in the US Declaration of Independence, in the famous phrase, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. They've generated an industry of happiness gurus who have written books and taught courses and whose every word is lapped up by millions of readers in the US and probably around the world as well. But does ancient wisdom from India and other Eastern philosophy tell us this is a worthwhile goal? And if not, then what is worth pursuing? Hello everyone, Dr. Shankar here. From my days as an undergraduate at the Indian Institute of Technology to my doctoral studies at Cornell, much of my education and training has been in the world of science and technology. But over the years, the questions that deeply fascinated me and that I've agonized over weren't only engineering problems. Rather, these questions have centered around who am I? What is this reality that we live in? What is the purpose of life, and specifically my life? What is the meaning of all this that we call life? And what is this elusive thing called happiness that presumably should logically drive all our striving and work? For most people, barring a rare few, strive to be happy and to avoid unhappiness or pain and suffering. And yet, much of our life seems to not be in that happy state. So this obsession with happiness and its pursuit, especially in modern Western society, is something that has also bothered me, as not intuitively making sense. I found that most people, especially as they grow older, tend to brush these questions off as either trivial, meaning implicitly they're saying you should have figured out the answers to these questions when you were younger. And by that implication, anyone such as me who asks these questions hasn't figured out anything in their life, and so must be stupid in the sense of not having worldly wisdom. Or these questions are too profound to investigate with our human intelligence, and so it is best to ignore them out of a sense of inadequacy or impossibility in finding definitive answers. I challenge both these assumptions because I believe there is value at any stage in life, whether you're young, middle-aged, or old, in confronting these questions head-on, or even revisiting them one more time, even if you've examined them several times before. Because they are neither trivially addressed easily once and for all, nor are they so profound that one should not attempt to answer them. In fact, by not answering them, we are implicitly deferring to answers that the world gives us as we go about our daily life. Either the answers our employer, our family, or friends, or even our religion or faith tradition is giving us. So this playlist is a set of videos where I examine these questions through the lens of my upcoming book, The 7 Steps to Bliss, a Modern Upanishad. A story that carries profound teachings the way the ancient teachers intended, through narrative rather than doctrine. This book follows the story of a scientist who has a vision that paralyzes his body and threatens to destroy everything he loves. He must then climb a sacred peak to reclaim his life slipping through his hands before his children lose their father and his career and reputation are ruined by the inexplicable. For those of you who may not be familiar with the word Upanishad, it is a Sanskrit word that literally means to draw close to, and it refers to the philosophical sections found at the end of the Vedas, which are the supramental knowledge revealed in meditative ecstasy to sages of ancient India. The subtitle, Modern Upanishad, came about because when I shared an early draft of this book with my daughter, she observed that the story structure in it resembled the stories that appear in the Upanishads. In this playlist, I will share the story of how this book came into being and connect that to the story of my own journey in answering these questions. Through this, I hope to start a conversation with a community of like-minded people like you who are interested in these topics by responding to your comments and engaging through conversation around any questions you may have. The 7 steps themselves will take some introducing because they are 7 philosophical statements in Sanskrit drawn from the ancient philosophical system called Advaita Vedanta or Non-dualism that reveals the truth in the Vedas, which constitute supramental knowledge revealed in meditative ecstasy to sages of ancient India. The 7 steps in Sanskrit are Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya, Prajnanam Brahma, Ayam Atma Brahma, Tattvamasi, Aham Brahmasmi, Ekam Advitiyam Brahma, Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. Okay, that may seem like a lot to digest if you don't know anything about Advaita or Sanskrit or both, which might be true for most people, but also the opportunity for me here to demystify these seemingly arcane systems of thought and render them more accessible, and to connect them through stories told in simple, understandable language, thus relating these ancient insights to our everyday concerns. To see that, in fact, this philosophy helps us live better lives today, precisely because it is concerned with universal questions that never go away, and to see how we can benefit from the wisdom of the ages. So let's start with some of those everyday concerns which I refer to in the introduction to the book in the following passage. Regardless of our age or station in life, most of us human beings share some universal desires. We want a healthy and pain-free body, and we want to live in a safe and secure physical environment. We'd like to enjoy the pleasures of our senses to the fullest. We want to enjoy a healthy mind that is happy, calm, and creative. We'd like to experience a deep, enduring, and fulfilling connection with our loved ones and family. Many of us also want to be uniquely good at something, and we seek recognition in the form of educational accomplishments and professional certification of our skills, for which we undertake study and training. We want to be sought after for our skills in the workplace, and we want to be recognized for our talents and fairly compensated for our work. We'd like to be seen as responsible and mature adults who take care of our dependents, be they younger or older than us. If we have children, we want them to thrive and to be happy. We want the time, opportunity, and resources to enjoy our hobbies and interests. We want financial independence and security to retire without want until the end of our days. We could call these trappings the conventional concept of the good life, attaining which we gain happiness. Now, I'm curious if you feel the same way as I do about this obsession with happiness and its pursuit, and if you have doubts whether this makes sense. Why may some or all aspects of the good life not deliver on their promise? In the next episode, I'll pick up on where we left off here and examine the difference between bliss, which appears in the title of my book, and happiness a little more in detail. Until next time then, know yourself, live your truth, strive to be excellent.